Hello everyone, have a nice day. Today, we step into a story where a single spliced sentence, "It was me," turns a warm kitchen into a village courtroom. Hidden cameras, ghost timestamps, and one stubborn analog dinosaur tape push Uri and Tu Tieu to choose between what's visible and what's true. If you find this story moving, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you won't miss the next videos. Play it again. Tu Tieu says. The screen freezes mid-breath on Uri's face, pupils catching the kitchen light the way a fish catches a hook. His voice, even and merciless, lands like a final cut. It was me. A beat. The refrigerator hum. A bowl ticking as it cools. Again, she whispers. The same sentence drops like a knife slipped between ribs. 8 hours earlier, afternoon gold sifts through the bamboo blinds. Canarium fruits line the table like polished stones. Uri lifts his camera, his witness, his shield, his sin. Ready? Always, Tu Tieu answers, tying her hair. The ribbon trails like a comma that keeps the sentence from ending. He frames her hands steady on the cutting board. The knife taps wood. Tap, tap. On the third tap, a red pulse blinks on the viewfinder. Recording. He didn't press the record. Uri frowns but keeps rolling. They shoot in the courtyard, in the trellis lane, by the water jars. Warm, ordinary scenes. Steam. Leaves. The quiet grammar of home. Yet the red dot keeps returning on its own, as if the camera has decided to keep its own diary. Night folds the yard. At the bamboo table, they review the takes. A flicker. A new clip, one that wasn't there a minute ago, slides into the folder as if a shadow has joined their conversation. On screen, Uri leans toward the lens, eyes blunt with fatigue, lips barely moving. It was me. No one will ever know. Tu Tieu's chair scrapes. She doesn't stand. She anchors. Why would you? I didn't say that. Uri, that's your mouth. Your breath is fogging the glass. It's an edit. Someone spliced it in. Who touched your gear besides you? Her voice is calm, which is worse than anger. He dives into metadata. Timestamps ripple. One file swears it was born yesterday, 23:59. But the battery log says the camera was asleep then. A ghost minute. He scrubs audio. At 14 kHz, a neat surgical cut like a surgeon stitching a new sentence across his heartbeat. The line, "It was me," is grafted exactly over the second where she had once breathed, small as a prayer, "I believe you." He looks up. She stares at the screen as if attending a funeral that hasn't happened yet but will. Who benefits if you're the liar? He asks. The name arrives without air. Lynn. The kitchen TV clicks on by itself. No input. Black then, the same damning clip roars on the big screen. Larger, colder, their faces inflated to the size of a verdict. I didn't connect the TV, Uri mutters. Then something connected to you, she says. Her hand on the table curls into a fist. He yanks the cable. The clip plays 1 second more after power dies, like a laugh from the dark. Knuckles at the gate. Rapid. Ms. Hoa slips in, rain beating in her hair. I saw Lynn by your fence an hour ago, she breathes, carrying a black case. Looked industrial. Field editor. How sure? Sure enough, I came anyway. Tu Tieu's mother appears in the doorway, eyes threaded with worry. If anyone brings fire into this house, she says, we'll bring water. Tomorrow, 8 o'clock, a hearing. Let the truth sit at this table. She looks from Uri to her daughter. Until then, no shouting. Silence, heavier than thunder. Uri locks himself in the back room. He opens the SD card, 2 directories. One is his. The other mirror bears the same file names, same lengths, but the colors lean colder, like the lens refusing to blink. He opens a mirrored clip. The angle is wrong. It's his kitchen, but the camera is behind him, filming his back while his camera films his face. He freezes a frame. In the cupboard's glass door, a hand crosses the lens. A wrist bone, a bracelet with a single dark bead. Lin wears a bead like that. So does he stop. Ms. Hoa's beads are wood, dulled by prayers. The one in the reflection gleams like stone. He rewinds 5 seconds. In the faint reflection, a smile that isn't his. Someone planted a second camera, filming his camera. His breath clouds the screen. On the mirrored angle, a red dot blinks exactly when he doesn't. 2 hearts out of sync. He returns to the kitchen. Tu Tieu sits with an old photo. Post-flood, Uri on a ladder, her holding the light. Memory adds years to her face. You told me once, a lens doesn't love you, it just sees, she says. I kept hoping it could love you if you were behind it. Don't turn a cut into a truth, he pleads. Cuts can be mended. Not if the cut lands on the moment I said I believed you. He reaches for her hand. She pulls away, like the touch burns. Let me prove the splice. Give me till tomorrow night. Tomorrow is the hearing, she answers. I'll be there for my mother. Whether you stand beside me depends on whether your film is true or a trap. In the doorway, her mother weighs him on an invisible scale. Cameras can be honest, she says. Editors can't. Be a camera tomorrow. Midnight smears the windows with rain. Uri stacks tripods, cleans ports, wipes lenses that keep throbbing red even after power down. He pulls a battery. The pulse clings for a breath, then surrenders. From a biscuit tin, he lifts a dinosaur, an old camcorder, no Wi-Fi, no Bluetooth, blessedly dumb. He loads a blank tape. Instinct points him at the canarium jar on the shelf. The glass bubbles the room like a fisheye. He records 30 seconds, plays it back. Something shivers in the reflection, a figure rippling between frames. There, not there, like a bad memory trying to become real. He froze frames, zooms. The ripple resolves into a glossy edge, a pinhole lens peeking from the jar's lid. He unscrews it. A camera the size of a shirt button warms his palm. How long have you been watching us? He whispers. He rewinds the tape. Under his own breath rides another whisper, thin as rain. Every story needs a villain, Uri. Thank you for volunteering. His spine turns to ice. The bead in the pinhole housing is black stone. He kills the lights. The house becomes a box of shadow. In the window's reflection, his silhouette kneels with the camcorder like a man about to confess. The red dot appears again, but on the outside of the glass, not in. The kitchen TV still unplugged flashes, white text on black. Tomorrow, 20. The hearing stream, public footsteps. Tu Tieu enters, face lit by that impossible glow. She doesn't look at Uri. She studies the word public as if it were a blade aimed at her mother. If the village is going to watch, she says, steady, let them watch me believe the right person. She turns the TV toward the bamboo table, the bench, the jury, the gallows. She sets her phone beside it, screen down. For a heartbeat, the lock screen flashes a tiny recording icon she didn't start. Tieu. Rest, she says. You'll need your voice tomorrow. Morning rinses the village, but the air tastes like metal. Neighbors drift through the gate. Orchard kids climb the fence posts. Workers murmur. In the courtyard center, the old bamboo table waits. A phone on a tripod stares with its red live eye. Ms. Hua whispers, "They're streaming already." Ly Tu Tieu smooths the tablecloth. "Today we finish this," she says quietly. Truth doesn't hide in editing. Tu Tieu arrives last. The courtyard hushes. She doesn't look at Uri. Her mother nods. We gather to hear what was done to this family. Lyn, come forward. Lyn steps in, wearing a pressed white shirt and a smile sharpened to glass. She places a laptop on the table. "Since you love cameras," she purrs, "let the world see the uncut truth." The screen blooms Uri's face again. "It was me." Gasps ripple. Someone mutters a prayer. Uri opens his mouth, but the mother lifts a hand. "You'll have your turn." When it comes, he takes it, camera trembling in his grip. "This is my body of work," he says, voice low. "But that clip is not mine. Someone mirrored my drive and grafted a line where faith lived. I can prove it." He splits the projection. Lyn's file on the left, his raw take on the right. Frame by frame, twins until 00 to 12 to 47. A pixel catches, a micro jump. He zooms. The color temperature drops by 2 degrees. That's an edit line. Any app can simulate that. Lyn smiles. True, but not the heartbeat. He plays his original audio. Under his talking, a second rhythm, soft, human. Her breathing. In Lyn's cut, that layer is gone. Someone removed her, he says, looking only at Tu Tieu, because her breath proved the moment was real. Murmurs become a wave. Lyn's jaw tightens. Then she flips to another folder, hundreds of clips labeled Uri Secret. Each shows him with documents, whispers, envelopes passed at doors. "Not mine," Uri says, even as his stomach falls. Lyn tilts her head. "Then show them your timestamps." He does, and blanches. Each clip bears a real date that mirrors his own late-night edit sessions. For a heartbeat, he doubts his own memory. The crowd tilts away from him like grass in the wind. From the back, Ms. Hoa steps forward. "Enough. I saw you swap the drives the night of the storm," she throws at Lyn. Lyn laughs. "You. Tell them about the beads on your wrist." Ms. Hoa glances down, and one wooden bead is missing. Lyn lifts her arm. Her stone bead glints, and for a cold second blinks. "You see," she says sweetly, "cameras everywhere, and I never needed to touch him." Uri feels the ground tilt. He reaches into the biscuit tin for the dinosaur camcorder, the last honest witness he has left. He sets it on the table, thumb hovering over play. A small hand Tu Tieu's covers his. The courtyard, the stream, the breath of the crowd holds. "If this fails," she whispers, not looking at him, "it doesn't just break you." Her fingers lift. Uri inhales, closes his eyes, and presses. Cut to black. The projector coughs, and grainy tape floods the courtyard wall of Uri's kitchen at night. Lyn slips in like a second shadow. Pocket light, gloves, the black case that unfolds into a traveling altar. She swaps the drive, checks the mirror angle, and the bracelet's single black bead blinks infrared, not mercy. Her whisper rides the analog hiss. Cut where she says, "I believe you." Keep the mouth, not the breath. Gasps. The live chat stutters. Lyn smiles thinly. "A staged relic," she purrs. Uri points at the frame's scar along the bottom. Analog VITC, a crease from 2011. You can fake pixels, not 20 minutes of damaged oxide. He splits the audio spectrums. My kitchen hums at 50 hertz. Your splice sings 60 for 3 frames. Silence holds. A lime cellar boy raises a palm. A bead lies their stone, not wood. Ms. Hole breathes out. I lost one that night. The mother's hands settle on the cloth. Child, did you place cameras in my house? I placed a story, Lynn answers, already tired. 2 officers step forward when the crowd shifts. Not fury, just gravity. The laptop closes with a clap, like a slate. The stream keeps rolling. People soften back into neighbors. Kettle steam braids with damp air. On the paused wall, Uri and Tu Tieu stare at their own almost ruin. You won, she says. No, we just ran out of edits. She rewinds to the theft, finds the breath that cut her quiet. I believe you. The speaker's cone trembles under her palm, a pulse she can feel more than hear. This is what I said, she murmurs. This is what you kept. I should have told you the house felt wrong, he admits. I called it paranoia. I didn't want to sound like a man inventing ghosts for his fear. I wanted the lens to love you because you were behind it, she says. That's not what lenses do. The mother resets the table as if closing a ceremony. A hearing ends with a sentence, she says. A family ends with a choice. Will you choose each other with the cameras off? Uri sets his camera down, removes the SD card, lays it like a lid over the glass. He hands the old camcorder to the mother. Keep the dinosaur. If we doubt memory again, we ask the one witness that can't be hacked. Walk with me, Tu Tieu says. They step into the trellis lane. Morning turns leaves into stained glass. Water jars hold the sky. I can forgive an edit, she says. I don't know if I can forgive being watched bleed. I'll unmake the stage, he says. Every hidden lens, and me. He searches for plain words. I'll be loud with the quiet things. Afraid. Wrong. Before the cut, not after. At the jars, their reflections try to edit into one image until she breaks the surface with a ladle. She drinks. He waits. I believed you before and after, she says. I'm not sure I know how to believe us. He nods. No reaching this time. He lets the line land, uncut. Then we won't roll, he says. If a moment matters, we'll remember because it matters. She takes out her phone. A tiny red icon glows on the lock screen. She puts it in his palm. He toggles it off. The dot dies. Back in the yard, the live stream clock blinks past an hour. The mother thanks the village and ends it. The phone's eye closes. The house exhales. They return to the bamboo table. The projector still holds their paired faces, lit like an old prayer. She hesitates, then powers it down. In the gentle dark, she is only herself again. Maybe the next story doesn't need a camera, she says. Then how will we remember? If it's real, she answers, almost a smile. We won't have to. A breeze lifts the cloth edge. Coins click against the bead in a boy's pocket. The old camcorder dozes on the counter, honest and heavy. They stand with the quiet between them. No lens, no red pulse, waiting to learn whether the truth they saved can save them back. Let it run.
Một đoạn clip bí ẩn xuất hiện trong đoạn phim của Uri, giả mạo lời thú tội trước ống kính. Niềm tin giãn nứt khi ngôi nhà dường như theo dõi họ. TV nhấp nháy, các chấm đỏ nhấp nháy, các tệp tin trùng lặp. Uri truy tìm mối nối và tìm thấy một vết cắt phẫu thuật. Nơi Tử Tiêu từng thì thầm, tôi tin anh. Nghi ngờ dần chuyển qua sang Linh. Tại một phiên điều trần công khai, Linh phát trực tiếp lời thú tội và tiết lộ các tệp tin có liên quan được gắn nhãn Uri Secret. Uri phản bác rằng lấy bằng chứng tương tự, một băng ghi hình bị lỗi không có wifi cho thấy Linh đang hoán đổi ổ đĩa. Camera hồng ngoại của cô bị bắt gặp trong phản chiếu của tủ. Phân tích quang phổ cho thấy một tiếng ồn nạ 60 Hz được nhúng trong đoạn băng giả. Đám đông quay lại và các cảnh sát bước vào. Khi đoạn phim kết thúc, mẹ của Tử Tiêu đặt câu hỏi thực sự: liệu họ có chọn nhau khi tắt camera không? Uri thề sẽ trung thực, sự thật được cắt sẵn. Họ tắt biểu tượng ghi âm cuối cùng. Nếu câu chuyện tiếp theo là sự thật, họ có quyết định không cần ống kính để ghi nhớ nó.